Hare Krishna, Shri Shri Radha Madhav Ashtu Sakhi ki Jai, Shri Shri Panchatattva Bhagwan ki Jai, Rajapur Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maiya ki Jai, Nrsimhadev Bhagwan ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, very, very warm welcome to everybody for this morning's Japa Yajna. Firstly, on behalf of our leaders, we thank all the people who came and did their Japa lead service nicely. And we go on to the next part of the program, which is the Srimad Bhagavatam class. So, which is a short class. The very nicely we start our day, and then let's hear from the Amala Purana Bhagavatam. So, I move on. I just humbly request everybody to put a pause to your chanting. I know you're all enjoying the sound vibrations, but just put a pause so that the next 15-20 minutes we can nicely hear, so that we can carry back points for the day and have a lovely day. And you can continue your chanting in case there is some balance rounds. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we are reading from first canto, chapter 7, titled The Son of Drona Punished. So, Prabhuji did till 19. Today we are on 20th yet completed, 21 and 22. Okay. So, let me share the screen. I think this is. So, is this, I'm sure this is seen, I presume. If someone is free, they can just repeat. Tata praduskritam teja.
Tata praduskritam teja.
Prachannadam sarvato disham.
Prachandam sarvato disham.
Pranapadam abhiprekshaya.
Pranapadam abhiprekshya.
Vishnur Jishnur Uvachaha.
Vishnum Jishnur Uvachaha.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charnaravinda A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: Thereupon a glaring light spread in all directions, and it was so fierce that Arjuna thought his own life was in danger, and he began to address Lord Shri Krishna. Since Srila Prabhupada has not written any purport on it, we'll also take the next verse, which is 722. Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Krishna Krishna Mahabaho.
Krishna Krishna Mahabaho.
Bhaktanam Abhyankaraha.
Bhaktanam Abhayankara.
Tvameko Dayamanana.
Tvameko Dahyamanana.
Apavargosi Smartahe.
Apavargosi samsrite.
Apavargosi Samstrite.
Apavargosi samsrite.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Translation and purport again by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna said, "O my Lord Shri Krishna, you are the almighty personality of Godhead. There is no limit to your different energies. Therefore, only you are competent to instill fearlessness in the hearts of your devotees. Everyone in the flames of material miseries can find path of liberation in you only." Purport is a very small one. very nice word. So let's quickly go through that. Arjuna was aware of the transcendental qualities of Lord Sri Krishna, and he had already experienced them during Kurukshetra war, in which both of them were present. Therefore, Arjuna's version of the Lord Krishna is authoritative. Krishna is almighty and is especially the cause of fearlessness for devotees, for the devotees. A devotee of the Lord is always fearless because of the protection given by the Lord. Material existence is something like a blazing fire in the forest, which can be extinguished by the mercy of Lord Krishna. The spiritual master is the mercy representative of the Lord. Therefore, a person burning in flames of material existence may receive the rains of mercy of the Lord through a transparent media of the self-realized spiritual master. The spiritual master, by his words, can penetrate into the heart of the suffering person and inject knowledge transcendental, which alone can extinguish the fire of material existence. So, we shall again, I shall seek the prayers, tell the prayers, and then share those few lines. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Pancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna. Just give me 1 minute. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Baba. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. I have written down. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare. Hare Krishna. I was searching for some points which I had made a mark of. Anyway, so we are in a very interesting situation. So we had heard from the last few classes that we had found out like any other action-packed movie, the hero has already entered. That is Lord Krishna. Very, very grand entry he made, like any other, unlike any other movie, which who make the hero larger than life. Here, Krishna enters in by riding, that is by being a servant there. Okay, so the hero has entered. Now there is full of action, right? Where Arjuna is chasing and Ashwatthama is running to save his life. So that's why I call it an action packed. So we also, the last theme was more on how Ashwatthama had, used the Brahmastra very, not even having any farsightedness, and how he used the sound, that is, he touched the water, the sanctity of the water, and then concentrate upon. So there was sound, focus on sound, and also focus on what he was running for his life. Now today, we will see how Arjuna reacted when Ashwatthama was pushed to a corner, right? What did he do? He didn't think he didn't think anything long term. He was so selfish, right? To protect himself, he did something which is absolutely unacceptable, right? So you've seen in the in many movies, right? In the villain, what does he do when he's anyway going to be caught by the hero? Last minute, just to save himself, he'll go and capture the hero's relative or some mother or something like that. Why? So that the person is busy saving that person. In the meanwhile, he'll run for his life. Something similar Ashwatthama was doing. What he was doing, he was trying to destroy the entire world, so that somehow, some last hope, he was hoping that Krishna is going to be busy saving the rest, and then he can find, he can save his life, right? But here, you see the absolute contrast. Ashwatthama was acting very selfishly, very asuric mentality, right? Destruction. They don't have, they cannot think in general good for the others, right? That mentality is very, very bad. Whereas here, what Krishna was doing, Krishna said, first, let me find out how I can help everybody. I mean, look at immediately what does he do? He doesn't show any impulsive reactions. He teaches all of us how to pray. Immediately, what did he do? He had offered prayers to Krishna. Okay, we will see here in the purport. Arjuna was aware of the transcendental qualities of Krishna, as he had already experienced them in Kurukshetra war, which means a devotee of the Lord is always fearless because he is given protection by the Lord, right? So Arjuna did not show any, or rather, he taught us a very important lesson. The first, there are a set of prayers. The first point what he did is he is teaching us how to surrender first, right? So I keep saying, whenever we are in a push to a corner, or when we have a very provoking situation, how we react to that provoking situation, or how we react to a situation when in stress, is very important. I've shared this once. A practical realization of mine is that we all had one of the yatras, we had gone for a pre-yatra check to a place in Chikkabalapura. It is called Moksha Ranganatha Swami. So I had gone with our leader, Mathurapati Prabhu, to go and do an inspection of that, and to see and to do all the arrangements for Prasadam, and first check to see whether devotees' comfort is going to be there. So we had landed there, and we finished all the inspection of the temple. Obviously, Prabhu and I were still seeing what else we can show our devotees. So there was a nice pushkarni, that nice pond. We said, why don't we go there and check? it looked a little not so visited regularly types, a lot of grass grown. Probably somehow said, let's go see. And I started walking with him. And then suddenly, as we approached closer to them, that is when we found out that that territory was, a few canines had marked the territory. And what did it do? Obviously, it started, those sound, and it shows his aggressiveness, right? So immediately, the first thing I did was we had parked our car somewhere far off, and I turned and said, "Can I run faster?" That was my first reaction. Absolute idiot. So, but I found something very calm, composed. Our Prabhuji just lifted his hand and said, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the moment he said that, I don't know, as if, the dogs knew the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, or the effect of taking shelter of Krishna. I mean, it was just almost immediate. The dogs just calmed down. I mean, it probably realized we were not a danger for him. And we also reduced the pace of our walk. We stopped and we looked at, we kind of didn't want to trespass their territory, but they just calmed down and they just moved aside. So I was thinking that, wow, here is a leader who's given me a practical lesson today, that no matter how much we take in the beats, chanting is not just early in the morning when we put our hand and then hear to the sound vibration. The reason I'm saying this is sound vibration plays such an important role, and the fact that we remembered the Lord at the right place. Okay, so at least what I did, I have failed the first test of remembering the Lord. At least after realizing that this is, I have forgotten to remember the Lord, I said, let me at least chant. Then obviously chanting came to me, very intense chanting. I was doing attentive chanting. Please don't mistake me. It was more out of fear of the dogs. I started chanting, and then turned, and I wanted Prabhuji to, slowly come away. Of course, we did see what that was. It was a dry pond, so we walked out. The point is that when we are pushed to the corner, when we know that we are in a difficult situation, right? So even here, Arjuna obviously was the very fact that there was grading. The previous verse mentions that there was glazing light spread in all direction. It was so fierce that Arjuna thought his own life was in danger. So obviously he knew his life was in danger. It is not that he was not fearing. He realized that this is some nuclear weapon, whatever, the Brahmastra, Astra. But what did he do was important. He immediately surrendered on the Supreme Lord. See these few lines, purport Srila Prabhupada's right. A devotee of the Lord is always fearless because of the protection given by the Lord. Material existence is something like a blazing fire in the forest, which can be extinguished by the mercy of Lord Shri Krishna. Now, it can be extinguished by the mercy. Now, why we are comparing our situation also, right? What is the first song we sing? Samsara Dava Nanalila Loka Tranaya Karunya Gana Ganatvam. So we are in a way also in the material fire, right? So we are having the same forest fire. So now how do we blazing fire? How do we save ourselves, right? So here is where the sound vibration and surrendering to the Lord, there are two aspects. Sound vibration was there from the last section, but I am still using that reference here because how much focus is given to chanting. Okay, I was listening to and hearing the Lord and how we then remember the Lord. So I'm giving this reference. I had heard somewhere and was very interested. So I read that it says in one of the places in I think Scotland that there is a Vanjar Bhumi, that is your dry barren land. There they develop one of the most fragrant that is they do their floriculture most fragrant flowers. Okay. And here is this very interesting technique they all follow. So all those farmers join together and they start chanting. Obviously, not the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. They chant some, it's called some Veda gardening. You can Google it. I'll try and send you that reference. So they all start chanting together. They all start singing, okay, as they plant the seeds. They all start singing, and because of this constant singing of all the florists, you get one of the most fragrant flowers there. And remember, it is a barren land. Now, just for the reference, I was curious the other way around. So in Solomon Island, there are these huge trees. Okay. So their axe, you cannot cut. I mean, just by manual process, they cannot cut the trees. So again, they use the same technique. Look at, I'm coming back to the sound technology. So they all start, the farmers or whatever they're called, those people who cut these trees, they all combine together. For 15 days, they chastise the trees. This, you know, what can I say? They all say all the bad words. They scold the trees. They gali dena, you know. So at the 16th day, they just start cutting it, and miraculously, they just fall down very easily. So why did I give these two reasons? Is because the power of sound vibrations, the power of chanting, the power of sound vibration was important. So now here, why I'm saying this, now here it says, the same way, the spiritual master is the mercy representative of the Lord. Now we all have heard that it says, Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Bija. Now, the same seed is planted through a guru, bona fide representative of the, in a parampara, through a guru, we all get the Bhakti Lata Bija. Now, how do we need to also nurture that bija? Is through the sound vibrations, through attentive chanting. Now you know why. First of all, this examples I gave is to say that sound technology, the same concept is there. Now here, imagine if we use this attentive chanting, the person burning in the flames of material existence may receive the rains of mercy of the Lord through the transparent media of a self-realized spiritual master. Now, these, the moment we get the Bhakti Lata Bija, unless we chant attentively and we, hear that attentively, we will not develop that love for Krishna. Now, why did Ashwatthama behave that way? Why did he use the Asuric mentalities? Because he didn't have any connection with Krishna. He didn't have any relationship with Krishna. Whereas what happened to this, just the same situation, absolutely opposite. Arjuna had all the connection with Krishna. Okay, so immediately he knew, he immediately addresses it as saying that you are the almighty personality. There is no limit to your different energies, right? So you can see that immediately he surrendered, and he is, of course, there are a set of verses. Each verse will bring out a aspect. That is why I said very important, because we all do our prayers every day. As a devotee, what do we do? We say prayers, and we need to know that how to pray. So this is a set of verses which we can learn from. And as a see how an Asuric thinks, right? I mean, they say, right, normally in life they say win-win situation, or you heard of win-lose. Win-win is ideal. So a businessman always says, I should win, you should lose, or the other person very rarely lose and win. But here, what Ashwatthama did was lose, like if I am not getting, you should also not get, something like that. I'm just giving a material example. So what he did, anyway, I'm going to die, I'm going to destroy the entire world. See, first of all, he had learned that forcibly through his father, Dronacharya. And again, there also Dronacharya had displayed, it was not true compassion or a true obedient disciple, his shishya. It was out of more because of his son he taught. He had again shown attachment there, right? Remember, Arjuna was is the true archer. I mean, he was the only one who was, when we are comparing Drona and Arjuna was the only person who should have got all that. But here he had taught him, Ashwatthama had forcibly learnt it from his father, okay? And he had now, having short-sightedness, used this mantra, though knowing very well that he doesn't have control over it. That's why those days only Martin Luther King had mentioned something like this. He said, we are we are in a generation of guided missiles with misguided men. So this is the proof of having misguided people or coming from Asuric mentality. Now he's not thinking of Loga Kalyan, or that is where a devotee is different. Or the moment you think of a Vaishnava, what does he do? Forget all this destruction. For him, for a Vaishnava, other person's trouble is also his trouble. He's a paradukka dukki. He always sees, how can I solve the problem, right? That is why Srila Prabhupada used to always say, a devotee he comprehends. One more word he uses, very often he says that devotee is very thoughtful. Devotee is very thoughtful, and he always does introspection. Okay, so he doesn't take, if you see people in rajasic mood or passion, they take quick decisions, always reactive. But a devotee is very thoughtful. He is not a person who shows reaction, right? So I told you, I learned this practical example after seeing, even in a troublesome situation, we can think of Lord. At least, the point is, at least if we don't, if we are not qualified to think of Lord immediately, at least the moment you realize that, I have not thought about Lord, that time at least we can say, now I will think about Lord. Now I made a mistake. I was pushed to a corner. I did not, I reacted badly. And then you feel, oh my God, I should have, I'm a devotee, I'm chanting Lord's name. I know Lord can protect me. At least then we will do this. We will think of Lord and we will seek protection under the Lord. That's why we say, if you to be Krishna conscious, why we keep saying being Krishna conscious. It's not about this morning chanting, attend this Bhagavatam and live it and continue your day. If we are not Krishna conscious, then we are Maya conscious, right? So very clear, it's proved beyond doubt that Maya can, waiting for a chance to take away. But if we are Krishna conscious, that every act in our day will be very, thoughtful. It'll never be on a reactive. It will not be on a short-sightedness. Hare Krishna, Asha Mataji. If you can mute yourself. Okay. So someone can help mute. Okay. So if
you're muted, go ahead, bro.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. So if we are we also should not be short-sighted. We always have to be long-sighted. Any action of ours is, we are being a devotee, we have that extra responsibility. So here, how lucky we are that Srila Prabhupada has made things so simple for all of us by giving these analogies, by giving, most importantly, by giving such wonderful gems to us as our spiritual masters. So in a way, I feel sometimes we are in a best phase, because we have a father, grandfather for us, that is like Srila Prabhupada, whose Vani we can still hear, right? We can hear. And also he's given us like a mother, like our Gurudev. So sometimes just by hearing their lectures, we can feel the same way how Arjuna felt. Now, why Arjuna felt fearless? Because he knew that Krishna is there. I just have to surrender. Now, how can we now feel fearless? Because now, as I said, we have our founder Acharya, and we have our Guru Maharaj, and many others, like I'm saying. So by hearing their Vani, by hearing their lectures, and by also hearing our Gurudev's lectures, we can now be in the same situation as how Arjuna is. that is fearless. So devotees, if constantly hearing and being thoughtful and having that long-sightedness, and most importantly, by the spiritual master, by his words, can penetrate into the heart of a suffering person and inject that knowledge, transcendental knowledge, which alone can extinguish. So which means there is no other option. Many times we say, for all the material problems, there is only one solution, which is spiritual, right? If you keep trying to find a material solution to it, obviously that is why it's not working, right? That if that is why people keep looking at different places they go every weekend. Why? Because they are looking for something which in the wrong places. That is why they keep saying, this week they did this, they did that. They're looking for happiness. It is not there. Whereas here, it's within. We have to, I'm not saying something abstract. When I say within, we are within us. We have currently, thanks to this material, I mean, the current modern world, that we have all access to all the lectures. Okay, of course, a few less videos of Srila Prabhupada, but we have the whole Bhandar Kazana. Prabhu says very nicely, Kazana of lectures. And if we can take shelter under their Vani, we can nicely feel the same fearlessness, right? Just tell me who is not fearless. Every time any other person, normal person, even if he's got all the money, you see the number of cameras in people's outside, the more, the bigger the house, all the angles there are cameras. All the angles there are cameras. Okay, so obviously he's afraid. Oh, he's in office, he's looking at his mobile half the time. Camera 1, 2, 3 is every angle, everything is safe. Okay, but whereas a devotee very happily finishes the Mangalarati, finishes chanting, reads the Bhagavatam, does his daily puja, and then takes his prasadam. So happy he is, because wherever what is his devotee's only mood is, because he is not in the asuric mentality, he is in the mentality of sharing. So he is going to the office wanting to yare dekho tare kaho Krishna Upadesh. So by saying this, I will just already time. So these are the few points I could pick from this verse. And if I have missed anything, Prabhuji, please add. I wanted to just share. I somehow missed the sheet which I had to made a few points, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. If there is any clarifications, any points which you would like to add, please, I request you people to immediately, without losing time, come on to the cameras and ask those questions. Hare Krishna. Dhanavad Pranam, Prabhu.
We will wait for questions, Prabhu.
Thank you, Pampa Mataji. Anybody else? Yes.
Or you can be ready with your questions randomly.
Okay. Yes. If you don't have any clarifications, like Prabhu said, we'll have to ask the questions. So what was the entire, this verse, these two verses, what was the shift, paradigm shift was there? The two different personalities. One Ashwatthama, one Krishna. How did Ashwatthama react? How did Arjuna react? Same situation, both are them. Haran.
Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prashant Prabhu, Heli Prabhu.
Ashwatthama has a Asuric mentality and Arjuna has a such a what was told, can't remember it.
Devotee.
Devotion, sorry. Hare
Yes.
Krishna. Thank you.
Yes, so they reacted in two different, you could see the different symptoms of being like that. Thank you. So how did Arjuna, how did Lord...
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Heli Prabhu, continue.
Prabhu, in the Kapil Sharma show, Gaurav Gopaldas Prabhu was told, I just learned, sorry, I just remembered. ತುಂಬಾ golden word ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದೆ ನಾನು ನಮ್ಮ ಗುರು ಮಹಾರಾಜರಿಂದ ಅಂತ. What is that word? The word was wait. Exactly, just I remembered.
Yes, sometimes I agree, Prabhu. Sometimes we are in so much of a hurry that we want we are used to this fast food. Anything you dial, you give the payment to the voucher, you want the food to be ready. You don't realize that's all pre-prepared and kept. So in our fast food mentality, we also want things the way you want, and we don't wait for mercy. That's why here it's saying, therefore a person burning in flames of material may receive rains of mercy of the Lord through transparent. You cannot get direct. Krishna is not going to come and solve our. He is sending bona fide representatives whose shelter we need to take. Thank you, Prashant Prabhu. Any other comment? How did the Lord make entry into Bhagavatam? Nothing to do with today's verse.
Just like a hero.
But he came in more as a servant. He was riding the chariot.
Obviously.
Okay. Yes,
I
very,
think so.
very important. Okay. Yes, he's the hero, but he came in more like a servant. Very important verse. And any other importance today we did we learn any technology? I was talking about sound technology. Anyone heard of that?
It's very vibration.
Sound vibrations. And
Sound vibration.
we gave 2 examples, some other place, some other country. Only
Scotland. One was Scotland.
Yeah.
So another one was
some Solomon Island. Nothing significant about the land of the location. I just happened to hear that example I gave. I thought it was more referring to this today's, and not today. It's more to do with sound vibrations. Thank you, Prashant Prabhu. It looks like only Prashant Prabhu was available. All others don't have any queries, any questions.